Hello, everybody again.
Hi, Phrancko. And Ron, I've got something to show you,
What is it?
and my husband's not too happy about it
Oh no.
because he couldn't wear his hat today. I love it.
Great.
It's wonderful. You did so good on it.
Thank you. Well, you
He
did
gets
so
a lot
good.
of compliments on it.
Good. Oh, it looks wonderful. I hope
Yeah,
you
you
enjoyed
did
that
great.
yarn too. It seems like it would be up your alley.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. And I put it on the Men Who Knit Facebook site.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Gave you some credit.
I appreciate it. Oh, good. I'm so glad to see that. And I saw it crop up somewhere. Someone else had done the hat and it appeared in a Facebook group that I was in.
Oh my gosh.
So I was pleased with that.
Hey, Ron,
Yeah,
is that
great.
pattern on Ravelry?
It is indeed.
What's it called?
Oh no.
I think it's called Star Trek.
Star Trek?
Let's see. I did it weeks ago now, and I had to like delete those files from my working memory.
I have it on my Knit
I
companion.
believe it's called Strange New Worlds.
Ah, okay. I love Star Trek.
New.
It was a fun knit.
Yes, it is called Strange New Worlds. That is indeed what I called it.
Yep,
And
Strange New Worlds.
so
Oh, all right. There you
I
go.
see it.
there it is. So yeah, I made that. I don't know. It was my palate cleanser from my never-ending stream of Phrancos, but now I'm back on it.
Oh, Phrancko, I finished this. This is my sweater. I'm wearing it.
Oh,
Oh,
wonderful.
I
That's
love
the
it.
saddle shoulder, right?
Yes, the saddle shoulder sweater.
Oh, that's so nice.
Oh, lovely.
Look at that.
I
Yay.
love it.
yeah.
Now I'm doing a cable sweater.
Mm,
Oh, my.
Oh, look at that. Wow.
You're fast, Summer.
Mm-hmm.
Summer,
I
you're
am a little
fast.
fast. I don't know. I'm OCD. I knit every day. Every day.
I
You're
knit every
also
day
knit
too, but
fast.
I'm not that fast.
Neither am I.
I had a friend, Ginny, that I used to sit next to, and she was so fast. And she always did stranded fair isle. And I said, oh, I want to be fast. And she said, no, don't be fast, be accurate.
Mm-hmm.
So I spent years of just being slow, but now I can just, and I'm pretty good at it, but I'm not a designer. I'm not, but I can produce.
Everybody's a designer. You put a cable on that sweater, you're a designer.
Oh no.
Yeah. This is a fun, I put cables as a faux seam.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Like underarm.
Oh,
Yeah, so it
Okay.
goes under the arm and all the way down the side.
well, isn't that interesting?
Mhm.
It's a
Oh,
faux seam, so it gives the sweater structure.
I like the idea.
Yeah, because it's
Oh,
in the
that's
round.
pretty.
Yeah.
When did you start that sweater?
What?
My goodness.
Do you sleep?
You didn't
Yes, I
start
Yesterday.
do. I work on the phone. I talk all day. So I have free hands all day.
Ah, I
So I have
want
one
that
of those
job.
that headset. Working at home's been very expensive for my yarns. I'm very grateful I have a husband that's okay with me buying yarn.
Ron,
Yes.
here's one photograph that they sent me. Can you see me?
No,
Oh,
no,
Just
Am I
Sumner
visible?
still, the only one I can, Oh, there it is.
Oh,
That's wonderful.
that's a good one.
That's so nice.
Oh, that's
That's there's me. Wait, hold on. Let me see. I know I've got another one here. Oh wait, those are. I was taking pictures of things going on in the parking lot this morning, so I can decide whether or not I want to tattle to the property management company. Oh, here's me physically intimidating someone. I don't know if you can see this.
Oh, my.
Wow.
This is one of my other yarn shop employees, actually.
Gosh, that's so funny.
Together. Interestingly, so the theater itself is a little run down, trying to get back onto its feet, but it is the oldest continually operating community theater in the state of California.
Really?
It
Very
has
nice.
been continually operating. They're starting their 96th season,
Oh, that's wonderful.
Wow.
and they've never taken a season off. So Bakersfield, despite its reputation as being like a post office and the hole in the ground that we all use as a toilet, in fact, some has some cultural designations, like having the oldest continually operating community theater in the entire state, which is something.
Wow.
That is
Yes,
cool.
Yeah.
fantastic.
Those are just, I'm still waiting to see if I get any good show photos. One of the fellows in the cat's wife is a photographer. I presume she still exists, even though I'm not looking at her directly. So hopefully I'll get some nicer photos. Those were taken in like our last rehearsals, and my wig wasn't properly styled yet.
Mm.
So you're done now.
I am done. See?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I see the beard
Oh,
back.
Ron's coming back.
Yeah.
That's a week's worth, huh?
This is 1 week of beard, you know.
Oh, my gosh.
Wow.
How long did it take you to get it as long as it used to be?
It depends on what point. I had it up to a year at one point. When we closed the doors in March of 2020, I just let it grow. I'm just like, well, now's my chance. No one sees me. Let's just see what 1 year worth of beard looks like on me. So I grew my beard for a year and then trimmed it a year later until I reached like sort of that point. I like it about that big.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that looks good.
we'll see.
Yeah.
Mhm.
This whole thing, I don't know. And someone saw me and it's like, it took 20 years off. And I was like, yeah, those are the 20 years I wanted.
Very cute.
So,
Oh, gosh.
yeah, but I'm back in business. So prickly.
Does it feel good to you?
I like recognizing myself more in the mirror. Like I went through the entirety of my 30s with a beard. Like I hadn't seen myself clean shaven since I was in my 20s.
What?
It's like, I don't know what's under here, guys, but we'll see. Turns out it was just a lot of face.
A lot of
So the funny thing is I have a nephew. The first of us that Phrancko actually met, they were in a class together at Stitches West.
That's right.
He met my nephew Dakota first.
Because he was the only other guy in the room. And I had to go over and say, hi, I think we need to meet each other because we're the only two guys in this classroom of women.
Yeah. So
Are we that scary?
and my nephew Dakota, he's an interesting man to be a knitter. He's he's a rodeo guy. He has a local trucking company, and he knits. And he has the matching tattoo to me.
Oh,
He's
I
recently
never
got,
saw that. I love it.
you know, it's my,
mhm.
so he has one that is number 5, bulky, and I'm super bulky. So he also shaved recently, and like in the last year he did like the chop, and he's just like, well, I'm bald now. time to stop pretending, I guess.
Yeah.
So he took his beard off to just like start it over. And the degree to which, I don't know if you can see that, that's him. But like the degree
Oh.
to which we look like one another,
Yes.
when, like I was in the office at like our family's farm company office, and people were like, "Whoa, where's your beard? What happened?" And I'm like, yeah, funny guys, I've been like this for like 3 weeks. And then he walked in having just shaved, and everyone was like, wait, what?
I think I just saw you.
Yeah, like, wait a minute. So a lot of face going around, but yeah, I'm happy to be getting the beard back and feel like myself again. That's my report.
How much would you give me to tattoo super fine on my arm?
That's amazing.
It'd be small.
Oh, my mother's calling. I'm gonna have to put you on hold, Claire.
Tell her hi.
Hi, everybody.
Oh, hi, Hunter.
Hi.
Hi, Hunter.
I got my yarn. I'm very excited.
Hi, Teresa. I see you joined us as well.
Hi, it's my first time. I listened to your recording last Saturday to get a little sense of what I was jumping into. So it sounds like you're having a good time. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
We always
Yes,
have a
we
good
are.
time. And
Welcome.
we all welcome you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Oh no.
Last week was Hunter's first time. And Joellen, who was here, I think it was her first time today. Emily, I didn't see you come in. Hi, Emily.
Hi, I started.
Oh,
Nice.
All right.
And, I'm doing it backwards. So I'm doing, this
Oh,
is the left shoulder. I'm
I
a
see.
lefty. So
Yeah.
I'm doing, it's,
all right.
and I just wanted to say to Cindy though, her pictures in the photo section I've really refer to those a lot. It's, and I've had to, I forget.
I'm glad they're helpful.
everything. I made one Phrancko, but I've forgotten all the things since that. So I'm tuning into Bill Sousa's yarn crafts for lefties. And he has a lot of knitting instruction for left-handed people, left-handed continental. Anyway,
Cool.
but
Can you
your
repeat the
pictures are
name?
very helpful. Anyway.
Emily, can you repeat the name of the person? We didn't quite get the name.
Yeah, it's
Thank you.
Bill Sousa. It's Souza. And his YouTube channel is Yarn Crafts for Lefties. And he seems to have a lot of how-to videos.
So is it just regular continental knitting?
Yeah, I think some he does. The other, is that English? Some, I haven't looked at everything he has, but I always, I knit continental, so I look for his things.
But
They're
you're not
really
doing
good.
like combination knitting,
What do you mean by that? I don't know what that
where
is.
you where you like knit into the back loops and like it's almost like the stitch mounts are backwards.
Right.
I don't know. I just knit from, the opposite side.
She knits,
You know.
she knits going the opposite direction. So she knits moving her stitches left rather than
From the
moving them
right needle to the
right.
left needle.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Whoa, okay.
So,
that is
everywhere on the pattern, it says right, I do left.
okay.
And so far that's working.
So do you have to switch all the increase directions?
Yes, so the make one right and the make one left, I'm flipping.
Make
And
one left, make one right. Yeah.
Wow,
yeah,
that's impressive.
it's tedious, but I don't know. Anyway, I'm liking the first one I did, I wasn't wild about the yarn. It was Brooklyn Tweed Shelter, which was a little rough, I don't know. And I've got these Chow Goo needles, which somebody recommended.
Mhm.
And
They look
I-
lace needles.
pardon?
They look like lace needles.
Yeah.
I think they are the Chogu lace, red
Yeah.
lace.
And I like the feel of the yarn this time. So that's good. Anyway,
So which yarn are you using this time, Emily?
it is, the company is Blue Sky, and
Oh,
okay.
it's, I don't know if it's a worsted weight, and it's Peruvian Highland wool, and it's two ply. But it's really I'm doing it for my son, and he really liked the color. I mean, you can't really tell.
You're very nice to do that dark of a color.
Yeah.
Yes, I was just gonna say.
You must love him very much to do that
Yeah.
dark of a color.
Why is that? Well, yes, I do love him very much, but why?
I can't see the really, really dark stuff. When I try to knit with really dark yarns, I can't
Yeah.
see the
And
stitches.
you
as
can't
well.
watch TV and knit either.
I
without
can't do
like
any of that.
Oh, yes, I'm finding that to be very, I can only do the knitting.
Yeah, 'cause
So
you just can't see the stitches as easily.
see, now I just learned another thing. Next time I'm not gonna knit so dark.
Well,
I'll tone it up.
Roxanne Richardson knits a lighter color and then she'll dye it.
Yeah, you can just over dye it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
that's a good
oh,
idea.
that's a good idea.
Yeah,
It
she does a couple of
A video,
YouTube
yeah.
videos a week.
yeah.
And I think it was a Technique Tuesday she does.
Uh-huh,
She showed how to dye the wool in an acid dye,
uh-huh.
which I was fascinated by it. I didn't realize why it was called acid dye and how it worked. But I
Mhm.
guess when you put the vinegar in at the end,
It's a mordant.
wool becomes a magnet
Mordant,
dye.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
then the water
It's a-
becomes clear and the
Yeah.
wool becomes saturated.
But
Yeah.
for heaven's sake, just buy some citric acid. You don't need your sweater to smell like salad dressing.
I think that's called a mordant, and in French, that means to mordre is to bite, I think. Is that right? Do we have
Yeah,
a
that's
Canadian
right.
here?
Yeah,
That's right. Yep.
Judith would know. Judith would know.
Yeah.
Quebecois.
But this, you can't see that here, but it has a beautiful, very subtle variation in the color. And it's, anyway, well, I'm committed now, so.
I like yarns that have subtle variation in the color. Many of mine do
Mm-hmm.
that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So
I like
that
that
is,
too.
Or give
that
it- no,
compensates a little for the dark.
Yeah,
I'm so excited though. I mean, I feel, I don't know. It's really a challenge for me to do this. The directions are great. And the videos that you have, Phrancko, and the photos from Cindy, that all helps me a lot. So I'm really thankful for that.
I appreciate you taking the challenge of doing it as a lefty. Because
Yeah.
that can't be easy. I wouldn't know how to convert the pattern to.
Yeah. How come, Emily, you've never tried doing it right-handed?
Well, I learned to knit lefty I had a good friend who was left-handed. She showed me how to knit. And I think at this point in my life, everything I know about knitting is in my hands.
All right.
And my brain is sort of, 50%,
Because I'm left-handed, but I do everything right.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same way, Walter.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah. Well,
Well,
maybe
but it was because there was no one that was left-handed around.
No
me that
one
would
was
teach me.
able to teach
It
us,
was just, you
correct?
just have to do it the right-handed
Yep.
way, whether it's not as easy for you or not.
yeah.
There was no, but I mean,
Is-
even scissors and stuff, they didn't have
Yeah.
left-handed scissors where I
Yeah.
was when I was a kid. So it's
Yeah.
like, you gotta
Yeah,
cut
I
with
cut
your right
everything with
hand.
with the scissor upside down,
Mhm.
so it cuts.
Oh,
With
oh.
continental, usually
Yeah.
Huh.
it helps with left-handed knitting, just regular continental knitting,
Mm.
I think.
I've
Yeah.
had
I
But I'm
agree.
not a left-hander.
scattershot like experiences with teaching knitting to left-handed people. And like you try and make predictions about what's going to work for a left-handed person,
Yeah.
but yet, as it turns out, left-handed people are people, and they vary.
Thank you, Ron.
All
for that
right.
vote of
Thank you,
confidence for us.
Ron.
My mother is left-handed, and I have a high degree of cross dominance because I'm good enough with my left hand that my mother taught me to do everything with my left hand when I was little because I could have been left-handed.
Right.
I am in fact right-handed.
I do that with my grandchildren too.
I do a lot of stuff with my left hand. And so just like when I have a left-handed client come in for a knitting lesson, there's a few moments of like, okay, we're going to try like 5 ways to hold your needles and yarn, and you're going to tell me what works for you. And sometimes it is just throwing. I've had plenty of people that
Yeah.
just like, actually, this feels best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm, mhm, mm. Everything is awkward anyways when you start knitting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So most people just stick with what they stick with, but I tend not to teach people to work mirrored simply because they'll have to do all of that mental calculus later of replacing all of their
Yeah.
directional increases and decreases. And for the same reason that there's no such thing as a left-handed piano, right? You just
Mhm.
indeed.
engage
You have to
both
use
hands.
both. You have to use both.
But people do tend to stick with like crocheting. I find it easier to teach people to crochet mirroring what you expect out of crochet. With
Hmm.
knitting, it's much more scattershot. I find that in crochet, like I spent
Yeah.
a few weeks teaching myself to crochet left-handed with fluency, just so I could teach lefties who come in and want to crochet. And 9 times out of 10 crochet, they do want to crochet with the hook, like
Yeah.
left-handed. But
Mhm.
knitting, I find it's much more variable. You really can't make any strong predictions about what's going to be comfortable for anyone, let alone
Yeah.
left people.
But so who here is left but knits right? Left-handed
I'm
but knits right.
I'm
I am.
left-handed.
Okay. And you knit
I think
right.
it's me and Russell.
I knit right
Yeah.
Mhm.
because
you,
no one would
Judith?
teach me.
And I
So,
throw. I throw.
No,
I throw.
no,
Right-handed.
I work continental unless I have to work with 2 colors. I'm able to throw,
Yep.
but I think it's easier for me to work with my left hand when I knit. Yeah, that's why I chose continental. But I tried both to make sure which one was easier for me.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah. And you're a right-handed knitter or a left-handed knitter?
left-handed. I
Oh.
hold my yarn in my left hand.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think Ron kind of nailed it because it's like what
He tends
you
to.
have to use both hands no matter what you're doing.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, so it's just you're learning one motion with one hand and one motion with the other. I mean, at least
Mhm.
I kind of
Right.
knit with both hands use motion. So I
Right.
feel like you just pick one and then you get better at whichever one you're doing.
Yeah. And I think if I was just starting or if I was somehow younger and more agile, I might try and switch over, because all the patterns are written for
Yeah.
right.
That's why I
Right,
tend not to
yeah.
teach people that way. But at this
Yeah.
point, you've been doing it and you got it and it works in your brain. So why mess with it?
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
well, it works in my hands. My
Not your brain.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
I found out something really interesting about the place that I live. And I'm a little embarrassed about it. It's so funny. I lived here since 2014. And there's a piano factory at the other end of the parking lot. And sometimes we hear them pulling the strings of the piano late at night, and it's a huge
Oh.
building, right?
Wow.
It's Mason Hamlin Pianos.
Oh,
Which
wow.
is one of the top 10 instruments in the world. Yeah.
Wow.
I had
Wow.
Why
no
didn't you have one? Why don't you
Oh,
have one?
because they're like $26,000.
Yeah, I know.
Just go check the dumpster. They might throw them out when they get old.
But I'm like,
You can't
Oh.
serve it anymore. It's gone stale.
yeah. They
That's
have a
cool.
little sign on the door, a little sign. But yeah, I was like, oh, wow. I just found out it was Mason Hamlin.
Oh,
Wow.
Rana, I saw your hand up. I didn't want to interrupt the discussion on left-handed knitting, but do you still have a question or a comment? Rana?
Yes, I'm going to say to Emily, when I'm working on a dark color like you've got, I usually put a white towel on my lap and it helps a lot.
Oh, that's a great idea. Yeah. Okay, I'll try that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's just all
Yeah.
sorts of information you get from these meetings.
Oh, my goodness. It
Really?
is. Yeah, it's been critical for me to have input.
That video that I think it was Sumner recommended last week from, oh gosh, Suzanne Byron on avoiding underarm holes. That was great.
Wasn't that good? I rewatched it.
Yep.
And that was not me. I think that was,
I think it might have been me,
yeah.
Oh,
it
was you?
Cindy.
because I do it.
It was in
That
me.
was how I first found Suzanne Bryan several years ago when I was doing the very first little sweater. And it was like, okay, my underarms look like crap. How do I do this? And she had this great video. It's like, oh, this is easy. I can, well, they did. It was just big holes. And I'm like, the rest of my knitting was fairly even. This was really holy.
I found her with the tubular cast on.
Uh-huh.
She has
Yeah.
an amazing video on a tubular cast on.
Yeah. Sumner, did you make your sweater that you're wearing?
Yeah, this is a Phrancko.
Yeah.
This is
Beautiful.
this is the
We
saddle
just
shoulder
finished
one.
this last week.
Really?
Last week it was not done.
Last,
Yeah.
It's really
well, it was done,
fast.
but I redid the collar. I've
Looks
been wearing
great.
it for a week. It only took 2 weeks to make it.
Oh my
Really?
God.
But the collar, I had to take it off and do it again.
Yeah. That's
I wanted
just
it-
like a craftsperson. You compliment them on their sweater and then they have to make sure that you know what went wrong and what they had to do again. And
I had it,
Yeah.
but I love the Phrancko. This is my favorite saddle shoulder. I love how it works out.
I like that saddle shoulder. That's nice.
I love, and it just fits me. So I have broad shoulders. So
Yeah.
it really fits wonderful. I love it.
Great. Great color too. Yeah.
Well, Hunter, you said you'd got your yarn. Which color is it and what kind?
You know, I got just a superwash worsted weight from Barocco, like their normal one.
Great.
But the color that I ordered, I can't tell. Doesn't really seem like the color that I ordered, but it is the color that I ordered. Just looked totally different. 'Cause
Oh,
I'm not used to shopping for yarn online, really, but
yeah.
That's
it's
tough.
different. That's all right. I wish they had the color cards that they had a long time ago, that they would
Mm.
glue a little
Yeah.
piece of yarn of every color and send it to
Right.
you.
they don't
Yeah.
even give those to yarn shop proprietors anymore. You just kind of have to do your best.
Ah,
Because they changed the colors so rapidly now.
Yeah. I think Brooklyn Tweed, you can get color cards.
Oh, so maybe some companies
Yeah.
still do.
Maybe.
But if
I
you
don't
touch any
know.
of those yarns, it'll peel the outer layer of your skin off.
Yeah. And you're paying for that yarn too. That's expensive yarn if they have a color swatch.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
This yarn that I got, I bought one skein at my local yarn shop, which is called Loop in Center City, Philadelphia. And I knitted up a swatch and I really liked it. And I showed it to my son and he liked it. And so then I ordered a whole bunch and it came in and I did another swatch and it was darker.
Oh, no.
It didn't look the same. So
Dye
I
lots.
held up
hand
both
dye, right?
swatches to my son and I said, can you see anything different here? And he looked at me like a deer in headlights. He said, is this a trick question? He's
And you're
also,
like, yes.
yeah. He said, well, this one is darker, and I said, yes. And he said, I actually like the darker one. So thank goodness. So anyway, but it was pretty significantly different.
Well, did you have enough yarn of the darker one to?
Yeah, I ordered the quantity in the one that I got in quantity is darker than
Oh,
the
sweet.
sample. I had about 15 minutes of being a little flummoxed, thinking this isn't what I thought I was getting.
Mhm.
But then after I showed my son and he said he liked the darker one, that solved that problem.
Which of their yarns is it?
It's Blue Sky. Oh, wait, here, I got the pattern info right here.
Is it Woolstock?
Blue Sky is the company. It's, Blue Sky Woolstock
Woolstock,
worsted.
Oh,
Yeah. But I just love working it, so I part of what I want out of knitting is to enjoy the process of it.
For sure.
My hands feel very happy when they're knitting. I don't know how else to say that, except that I don't know. And it seems like it knits together something inside of me too. I
Well
don't know
said.
what that is, but yeah.
Well said.
I get what you're saying. I'm more about, I enjoy it because it's like a stab, 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 stab kind of thing.
Well,
But I get where you're coming from, yeah.
yes.
Oh, God.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
Same
my
to you.
hands are
Anyone
doing
watching this
something.
afterwards, yes, we are always this crazy. Just get used to it.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Knitting slows down my brain. Otherwise, I'm all over the place.
it's sort of like it
Centers me.
yeah, and it what's the word I want? Let's see. I can't think of the word. It's sort of like a unifying your mind and body, that your hands and your mind are coming together, kind of. Yeah. Which is sort of like what meditation does.
Meditation.
That's what I
yeah.
was just gonna
Yeah.
say.
you get
Yeah,
into
it's
a
like
flow
meditating.
state.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Synchronized, that's not quite the word either, but at any rate, so you spend a fair amount of time with your project, so you might as well like it.
Yeah.
That sounds funny, but
This
I
is
think
why
even
I
if you
only
don't
knit
like
and have
it.
never married.
Huh? What's that, Ron?
I said, this is why I only knit and have never married. If I'm gonna spend a lot of time with something.
yeah.
I think it's a feeling that all knitters understand, but non-knitters do not.
Yes. Yeah. And I took a little break and wasn't knitting for maybe a month or something. And I just could feel myself on edge. And once I picked it up and started, well, anyway, good to know, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Are you feeling
Kathy,
any more
let's-
centered since you picked up knitting again, Claire?
Who's Claire?
Claire.
You're muted, Claire. Yeah, she's muted. But
Yeah,
I
now
know that
she's
Claire
saying-
she's a Bakersfield knitter here, so
I
we
was
know
wondering
one
why
another.
nobody's
Oh, okay.
listening to me.
So I know she took a long hiatus
why-
from knitting.
That's why we were
Ah.
ignoring you,
And so-
Claire.
No, I knit so I don't kill people.
But what happened in that 2 years you weren't knitting? One wonders.
A lot of blood.
I think I ate instead.
That's
That was
bad.
problematic.
Like sometimes I go to the Foxwood in Connecticut, so I get on the boat and I'm sitting there knitting and all these people are watching me. And then finally I get a man that comes up to me and says, "Why are you doing that?" I'm saying,
Really?
I'm doing it.
Oh, that's so funny.
So I
I've
said,
never
I'm
had
doing
that
it because my therapist told me if I don't calm down with something, I'll kill somebody. So he says, okay, I just wanted to know why, and he walks away.
The funniest thing that's ever
John
happened to me with
Bush.
another man while I was knitting in public, I was knitting in an airport.
Oh.
Um,
Oh.
and I could see that a man sitting across from me was trying to surreptitiously take my photo.
No.
Like he's doing the thing where you're like this and like, oh, I'm using my phone, but like you're very clearly aiming your phone. I did not just fall off the turnip truck. And then his camera shutter sound went off. Oh God, you've never seen someone leave their seat. It's like so, and I'm just like, I know like the photo had to be me like looking directly into his camera lens.
Yeah.
As he makes like with the shutter sound, and that might be my happiest knitting memory. Just like I don't know who he was gonna send the photo to. Just like, yep, that's me, total beta, knitting away at the airport.
Yeah.
I don't know where I heard this, but someone told me once that like in England, I don't know if it's currently, but children used to all be taught at school to knit.
Maybe Jenny
In
knows
Ireland, they
something.
are.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, it was a while ago. Not at the moment. Not for the last sort of 30 odd years. They haven't taught it. But when I was at school, you could. It wasn't compulsory, but you could do it optionally at school. But it wasn't compulsory.
Oh, I see.
I
Yeah.
think back in the late 1800s, maybe early 1900s. Well, at least in the
Not that old.
1800s. In the late 1800s, all children were taught to knit in grammar school in America.
Oh, in America. Yeah. And in the Waldorf schools, are you familiar with those?
Yes.
Yeah, they
They
knitting
For the
and
salads.
handwork and all kinds of handwork, woodworking, you know, all kinds of stuff.
I just had a client come in for the first time, a middle-aged woman from Cameroon, who was taught, who lives in Bakersfield now, and was taught knitting and crochet in her school because all the nuns who taught there were Irish. So they made all the children learn to knit and crochet, and she kept it up.
Yeah.
So she's my best friend now.
Yeah.
My dad was born in 1932, and we have some handwork and stuff that he did that when he was a little kid, they did teach the boys and do.
Yeah.
And so he's got like little embroidery and the samplers and stuff that they did. It was how they were doing their letters and everything, but actually just sewing them with little sewing thread.
Yeah.
And then he ended up, when he was in college, he sewed custom seat covers for fancy cars, and that was one of the ways that he paid for school.
Oh, wow. That's very enterprising.
It was kind of cool. And then he ended up getting his engineering degree, but that was anytime that we would sew, he would always be like, oh no, you've got to sew faster than that. Just put the pedal down. And he didn't ever sew anything without a walking foot. It's like you have to have a walking foot so that it will feed the material evenly. But he was really good, and he would hem his pants or trim his shirts to make them fit.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
I have a question.
All right.
So when I'm about to join for knitting in the round, I'm very excited that I'm almost done picking up stitches because I hate picking up, at least for a while, because I hate picking up stitches. And it says, I already did this once, so I guess I could just do it again and it doesn't really matter. But when it says, cast on 16 stitches, cable cast on to go across and connect the, into the round.
Yeah, the shoulder.
And it says join on the other side. Does that mean join, like cast on an extra stitch and slip it over?
No, it
Don't
doesn't mean cast on another stitch. It just means knit the next stitch that's on a separate piece. So
Okay.
it joins what you were already knitting to the other side.
So if I already did that on the first side, is that bad?
What? The first side is the back side.
Yeah, sorry, yeah, the back side, when I joined on the neckline, I
And
cast on an extra stitch and then slipped it over to join.
Oh, that's how you joined. Actually, that did it. If I understand what you just said, it doesn't sound like you increased the number of stitches.
No.
No, he didn't
No.
increase.
Well, then it'll work just
Yeah,
fine.
that's
It'll
okay.
be fine.
Just to keep the,
And it won't show because you're going to pick up stitches going around the neck, and whatever you did there
Anyway, yeah.
Right.
in the picked up stitches.
Yeah, that'll be seamless.
We're gone.
Shep, knock it off. I have a hunting dog and he's not very, he's not fond of my knitting. He wants me to bring him outside.
Can I
And go get
share
ducks.
my Phrancko updates?
Yes.
I've got so
yes.
much Phrancko stuff going on right now, you guys.
Mhm.
Okay, let's see. Where to begin? Let me end this row. Okay, so first of all, here is the crop that I was working on before.
Oh, that was
Oh,
really
how
nice.
nice.
So
I really
what-
like that yarn.
Nice.
That's pretty.
And I'm still working on the video tutorial for the double stockinette hem and cuffs. But while I was working on that, I had mohair, sorry. I'm prepping myself to having my beard back. Having a large beard is
Occupational
mostly just
hazard.
eating your own hair. This is my sort of idea that I'm working on because someone came into the shop and saw the sample and was like, I want to make that. And I hadn't done like a Phrancko for publication thing for this sweater. And it was really just something I was going to use to do a tutorial for the hem and cuff treatment. But then I thought, what if I just put together what I'm calling a Phrancko recipe? It has written instructions for like the cuff and things, but otherwise it just tells the user what to put into Phrancko.com. Like make
yeah.
a swatch using this kind of yarn and this size needles, and then measure your gauge, make it a 4-inch ease, put in this value and this value in the generator, and then insert these techniques into the appropriate section. So like replace the cuff directions with these cuff directions, like a little, like what changes to make this particular sweater, but going through your own steps of the Phrancko generator.
Mhm.
Oh, that's cool.
And do you charge for those, you know?
This one, no.
changes?
This one I just gave to my client as a proof of concept.
Yeah,
I just
or
made it.
like with
I
a
was like,
yarn purchase or something, get the free pattern.
I'm not even that strict about things that I
Yeah.
make myself. Like she did buy the yarn, which I appreciate, of course.
Yeah,
But she's also a good customer and is in all the time. And just like she took to it and she liked it, and it kind of saved me the trouble is not the best way to put it, but saved me the work of making a sweater pattern out of the
yeah,
Phrancko generation, which is like, here, do all that yourself and then make these changes.
right, right.
Which I think would be a fun.
I'm really excited about that idea.
Yeah, I think
I'm
that's
not sure it
wonderful.
would work for a very complicated set of changes, but it sounds like a great way to just say, here's an idea here, or even here's a sweater which you can generate, but you start by generating a pattern at Phrancko.com,
Right.
and then here are the modifications you make to it to turn it into this. And here's
Yeah.
the yarn you use to make this,
Yeah, that's exactly. And it doesn't matter what my gauge is with that yarn.
because you're going to
because it's
enter the gauge you get with that yarn, and it's going to be the right yarn.
Yeah,
And it's gonna fit.
So
Yeah.
something with like, a Fair Isle pattern that's going to require you to have like multiples of 16 or start chopping up your chart. Maybe not that, but like this thing is just like, this can be any number of stitches on this sleeve treatment.
right.
So it's very easy to say what's going on.
It's a nice way of helping people develop a sense of creativity about their knitting. You know, if you've got a solid base like the Phrancko sweater,
Exactly.
that's a good stepping off point, which I think, isn't that part of what you had in mind, Frank? When you,
Absolutely. Yes, it was to provide a basic plain sweater pattern that people can then modify however they like. Whether it's adding color, adding different, using different stitch patterns, or cables or lace or whatever you want.
yeah, yeah,
So,
that's neat.
if anyone has any good ideas,
Yeah,
we can
it's kind of
collaborate
like
on a Phrancko
training.
recipe cookbook.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, the steeking of the sweater, because I want to make a cardigan
Mhm.
using Phrancko,
uh-huh.
and I want to steek it. And I think I'm going to use the V-neck as the template so that I have a almost shawl collar for the cardigan.
Ooh, that's
And then
nice.
maybe do a brioche collar so it will roll
Yeah,
nice. But yeah, so yeah, I'm excited about that because I saw you steeked a sweater
Yeah,
and made a cardigan.
yeah.
And I'm like, oh,
I did.
that's good.
I did a crew neck cardigan that I steeked, and I did a V-neck cardigan with a shawl collar that I knit flat.
Oh, okay.
I've done it both ways. I'm sure there's a third way to make a cardigan, but I haven't done it. Here is the top of my Henley with its very, very deep. It's just stitch markered together. Now it's unblocked, so it looks
Oh,
terrible.
that's
Oh,
great.
that was the one that you were,
Yeah,
what
I
was the
showed you
name
guys
of
the
that one? It
sketch.
was like some sort of, what was
Based
the
on
name of that?
Uncharted.
Yes, that was it.
So you see it has a very narrow
Mhm.
placket
Narrow, deep
and
placket.
very deep,
Uh-huh.
fully 9 inches deep. So that's coming along, and this
Mhm.
will be a fully written pattern for publication. And then the third thing I have going all at once,
Oh, you're
The
ice cream
hot
sundae.
fudge.
I can't, yes, it's hot fudge.
I
Yay.
thought that one was so cute. I love that one. When you,
Oh, there you
that's
go.
turning out great.
Oh, that's neat.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's nice.
Because
Cute.
I got zesty, I got the hem as a little waffle stitch.
Mhm.
Oh,
Ah,
that's cute. Yeah.
Like a little waffle cone.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
And
That's
by
very
popular
cute.
demand, I did add a little dimensionality to the drips.
ah,
They are, so
Wow.
there are increases and then decreases a few rounds later. So they have this little like, just
Fudge
subtle
drip.
dimensional drippiness. I can't stand looking at this unblocked, but because of the puckering, it looks like I don't know how to carry my floats. A woman came in yesterday, like, what are you working on? It's like, oh, there's little strand. And she said, can I see your floats? And I said, why don't you look at the floats on this hat?
hmm.
That's great.
Here.
That's
No.
fun.
You may not, but
I'm
I've done
surprised you didn't
some.
just whip out your handy dandy steamer and just steam it in front of her
You
and
can
say,
see
here's
I
what it
did
is.
some, there's a 6 stitch float that I did ladder back jacquard for.
Yeah.
It's
So
neat.
that it'll lay flat and stretch
Wow,
around
that's
the
fun.
upper arm.
Nice.
So I've got a lot of Phrancko going on, more Phrancko
Yeah.
than usual going on in my life.
My goodness.
A Phrancko life. So when you show that sweater to people, you'll hold it up and you'll say, and yes, I know how to carry my floats.
Yes. It's an ice cream float.
Well, the hat that you designed, you did it really well, so the floats were easy to
I
manage.
tried. A lot of things that I design particularly to be approachable for, like, if this is your first stranded project or your first sweater, I want you to be able to approach it nicely.
Yeah, yeah.
I want you to feel comfortable doing it. So that's why, for example, just in terms of the visual tempo, I would have liked the drips to start up here, but that would mean making a lot of different charts to handle the
Oh, yeah.
increases in all
Yeah,
the
yeah.
different sizes. So I put it in the underarm so that someone who's new to looking at a stranded chart or new to stranded knitting wouldn't have to do that. I want to
Yeah.
be able to encourage my people who come in.
Mhm.
Like, you can do it and it's not going to be difficult. And I don't want you to learn every technique in one project. But
Yeah. No.
I'm
I like a
pleased
lot
with
of
it.
hot fudge.
It's cute.
It's very cute.
If I do say so
Darling.
myself, which I do. This will be
It's
bundled
very-
with a little cherry hat with a stem.
Oh, perfect.
It'll have a little
Really?
knot and an I-cord stem that comes out.
With a cherry on top.
Yep.
Good,
Yep.
good
It's
idea.
just darling.
So that's what I'm up to. If anyone feels like test knitting later, you just let me know. I'll bag, actually. You don't need to let me know. I'll pick one of you.
I have this feeling he's looking at me.
So I'm loving the just digging into the Phrancko pattern generator for designers. So thank you, Frank.
I'm so happy that you're doing all of this, Ron. I just helping me so much, and I'm glad you're all enjoying this. Actually, it's
Yeah.
gratifying to me to put
Yeah,
something out and have so many people appreciate it. It's really wonderful.
for sure.
Yes.
I have to go check my stew, so hopefully I'll see you guys next week.
Okay,
Okay,
nice.
Bye,
nice to
Millie.
see you all.
Bye.
Nice to see you too.
Thank you.
Sorry my update took so long. I
No.
just have so much Phrancko going on.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's great. And I have a couple of nieces that would look great in hot fudge.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm
Oh,
gonna
and
put
you're
together
a fast knitter, so Sumner would be a good one.
I'm gonna put together some color recommendations and the recommended yarn, because there's no reason it could, like, it can become gooey slime. It can become, strawberry sundae in pink and red, or candy apple in like red or green and
Green, yeah.
tan, or caramel apple, or any kind of reverse the colors, and it's a gingerbread house.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's fun.
Ron, do you carry Baracco Remix?
I have in the past. I do not have it now.
Okay.
Sorry. Oh, Cindy, did you get your yarn?
I have not gotten the mail yet today, but I believe it was supposed to come today.
Oh, good. I
Ron,
love
do
that
you
yarn
have
too.
a
I love
yarn?
everything about Kilborn.
I want to do, I looked at a thing about stuff. I want to do a t-shirt in like a Phrancko. And I
Yeah.
want it to do so it really fits me nicely. And I want to have the sleeves that are long enough that they go down to my elbow, not these little Twinkie sleeves that regular t-shirts are. And then that it has the amount of ease that I want, so it fits me. And then, so I love both that mauve color and then flamingo pink. I mean, what's not to like about that? So those were the ones that I'm gonna swatch and see which one I'm gonna use for a
She bought a
t-shirt.
yarn called Mojave from Kilborn Woolens. This is
it's a cotton linen.
yeah, and it's so soft, like it doesn't feel like twine like linen does.
Wow.
Yeah.
This top is marled 2 shades to work up at a DK, like worsted gauge.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful, great for warm weather
It just
knitting.
looked like it would be really nice, so I'm excited about
I enjoy
it.
sending packages to Cindy.
This is cotton linen.
In case anybody doesn't know, Ron
This is 50-50.
Ron runs a local yarn shop in Bakersfield, California.
Okay.
So that's what everyone's talking
And
about.
his mouth, he runs that too.
He runs his mouth.
I wasn't saying a word.
So this hat was Calborn too, right, Ron? Yeah, this
Yeah,
was
that's
Calborn.
Camper.
I just love it. I just really like that yarn is so.
Yeah, it has a very Sumnery quality. I thought you would like it because you like the Shetland wools, and it has that fuzzy woolly quality, but it's so soft in the
Yeah,
hand.
it's not scratchy.
Not in the least. I love it.
Amazing.
And great for stranded knitting.
Yeah. No, and the strands, I was looking at it going, oh, the strands are going to be awful, but they really came out really even. Like,
Whoa.
because I did parallel floats.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So they're just
Almost
they're all
like
parallel.
almost like Ron planned it that way, and that you were an
Yeah.
expert knitter, Sumner.
But he didn't tell you how to do your floats, and so I did
No.
parallel floats, and it worked out great.
Yeah, that was kind of a good luck. Here's a chart.
Yeah, it worked.
Now, Ron, you just mentioned some kind of float that I've never heard of before. Can you tell us what that was?
Sumner mentioned his parallel floats.
No, you
Oh, it's
before
back
that.
ladder.
Before
Oh,
that,
ladder
you
back.
said ladder back, whatever.
Ladder back jacquard. Wait here, I'll get you one that's easier to see.
I was gonna have him point that out, Franco. I'm glad you mentioned it. I'd never heard of it either.
Yeah, apparently it's.
I had only from weaving, like a ladder back jacquard.
I'm back.
All right.
So this is a stranded knit hat, as you can see. It's got an
Oh.
Animal Crossing leaf on it,
Okay.
because it looks like Tom Nook.
Tom Nook.
So these floats here
Wow.
are ladder back jacquard, or jacquard if you prefer, or
Jacquard.
jacquard if you prefer.
How would Judith say it?
Jacquard.
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 Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Jacquard.
Jacquard. Jacquard.
See? Jacquard.
Jacquard.
What it is, the technique is just like in the middle of your chart, in a long area of knitting.
Yeah.
You pick up a stitch, usually like a lifted increase, and you basically double knit a little bit, but only like where you would normally catch a float. So this is a little bit of double knit in the contrast color. See, I can pull it away,
That is cool.
but it is held by one
Oh.
strand,
That's the way it
Never
is.
seen that.
and
Oh.
it stretches and stretches and stretches.
Wow.
My stranded knit hat stretches. And
Do you have a
it
video?
prevents you from having to do like intarsia
Yeah, yeah.
in the round, even though you've got a big area of color.
Sumner, we're thinking the same way. I was just going to ask him if he was going to do a video. You
Because
need
I
to
love
do a
that.
video. We need to see
Yeah.
how to do this.
Okay.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
I love
Then-
learning new stuff. That would be great,
So
Ron.
do I guess.
There's a pattern on Ravelry called It's Not About the Hat, and that teaches the ladder back jacquard. It teaches that method, and I think that's got video links to it.
Yeah. There are
Oh,
lots of great tutorials out there.
Yeah.
I still want
yeah.
Ron to do them.
So you want one with jokes, is what you're saying.
Right, we'll be having fun laughing.
Come for the ladder back jacquard, stay for the one-liners. Yeah, it's a great way to manage floats when you've got big areas of one color where you wouldn't want to strand repeatedly, or in the case of the upper arm of the sleeve, you want to make sure it stretches
Oh, all right.
Right.
because it's bandy, like double knitting. End of story.
my
And then you don't
goodness,
have
where
to
did
do
this
it.
hour go? Our hour is up.
I feel like I took
thought
it
we
over
were
No,
my
no,
head
no.
with that.
We just started.
We
No,
just started. I know.
Start, I think.
This is like our
been so much fun.
entertainment hour.
It is. It
Let
is
me
for
just
me.
quickly ask, does anybody have something pressing they wanted to show us and couldn't get in? A
Sorry.
question, something immediate, something you want to know, anything?
Claire, are you wearing the top of your sweater?
Yeah.
Look at her.
I missed
Oh,
last
yeah,
week. I was out of
exactly.
town.
Oh,
but
nice. There you
Oh,
go.
yay.
I hope the sleeves are going to be big enough.
They always are.
They will.
Yeah, it fits your shoulders lovely. That's what you got to worry
Yeah.
about. Yeah, it looks great. Yeah.
If you get that right, all the rest,
Cindy
These
still
are-
talks about how every time she thinks that's small,
Yep.
and then it's
And
always
then
right.
and then it works. It always
Okay,
works.
good.
Trust
That's
the
looking
pattern.
great, Claire.
Thank
Yes.
you. It's so fun.
Yeah.
It's so easy. Easy.
It's true.
And I'm not kidding, except the
I know.
short row stuff. Oh my God, that's a horrible mess. But that's okay because I'm going to make a collar, pick up a yarn. It's this similar color made of alpaca. And I'm going to make some weird frilly collar. Or at least that's what I'm thinking of. So it'll cover up any sort of imperfection.
And now we have Claire designing her own Phrancko too.
Yeah.
Love it.
Well,
Better, I'll do a
I
big
hate
little-
to make you all stay over. Teresa, did you have a question before we go?
Oh, bless your heart. I'm just happy to be here, and I'll probably see you next week. And I knew the hour would fly by, and it was certainly very entertaining. Thank you all.
Well, thank you for coming, and we appreciate all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Frank.
Bye-bye. We'll see you next
Night.
week.
See you
Bye-bye.
next
See you next
week.
week, everybody. Bye.
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 Bye.